An LMPD officer shot and killed an unarmed black man during a traffic stop nearly 2 years ago. Our cameras were there after it happened, but officers were not wearing body cameras. So we haven't seen what happened during the shooting until now.
This video comes from a neighbor's security camera. It's something you'll see only on WDRB. Katrina Helmer walks us through the video and reveals why the officer says he pulled the trigger.
The LMPD says a serial robber is dead after a police officer shot him in J-Town.
May 15, 2019. At a busy Jeffersontown intersection, a robbery investigation turns into a shooting. LMPD officer Brian Arnold shot and killed Duantez Mitchell.
Robbery unit detectives, they do not wear body cameras.
But this home security video shows it all. Guns drawn, car surrounded, and the moment Mitchell is shot several times.
That there was no video footage. That turned out to be incorrect. There was video footage.
Hal Friedman and Greg Sims are attorneys representing Mitchell's estate. His family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in 2020.
Deadly force at that time is completely unwarranted.
But the day after the shooting, LMPD held a press conference.
Mitchell had very recently been identified as a suspect in a series of violent business robberies.
Arnold, a pilot in the air unit, was helping the robbery unit because the helicopter was down for maintenance. And LMPD said Arnold fired in response to what Mitchell did.
As these officers surrounded Mitchell's vehicle and attempted to take him into custody, Mitchell accelerated, striking Officer Brian Arnold.
What's tragic is that we have a kind of a rush to judgment, again, by the police.
This is the surveillance video that we're talking about. It's important to note there is no audio on this video originally. Now here we go. Everything's going to happen in less than 30 seconds. You can see officers come out of an unmarked car. Arnold is in the red shirt on the driver's side of the vehicle Mitchell is in. Two more officers surrounding the vehicle. This is when officers say that they are telling Mitchell to put his hands up and identifying themselves as police. Now pause right here. This is when things get extremely complicated and move very, very quickly. This officer with her gun drawn, she is a J-Town officer. Arnold says to investigators that he told her to go back to her marked cruiser and to bring it in closer to box in Mitchell. Now, this is when things happen extremely quickly. Hit play. As she's running up, Arnold says, go back, box him in. In this moment, you see the car move and Arnold's firing shots.
That's how fast it happens.
But Sims says there's a critical witness. Mitchell had AirPods in his ears and was on the phone when this all happened.
In fact, prior to getting the autopsy, he informed me that during that phone call, he could hear yelling, people screaming, and then he heard a shot, and then heard Juan Mitchell say, some version of "I've been shot in the face." Then the vehicle accelerates and then he hears more gunshots.
As part of the Public Integrity Unit case, the officers on scene were interviewed. A week after the shooting, Arnold tells investigators, I could see his right leg shift from the brake pedal to the accelerator and I could hear the engine start to rev. The vehicle actually pushed me back and my first shot went a little higher through the front windshield.
And the autopsy specifically found that one shot out of the numerous shots went front to back.
The officer on the passenger side, Detective Daniel Mason, was interviewed by PIU just hours after the shooting. He tells investigators, I hear the shot and he accelerates. I don't know which one happened first. It might have been at the same. He stops talking here before finishing his sentence.
Whether it's the shot happened at the same time as the acceleration, which is essentially pop and the vehicle is going forward because he gets shot in the face, or if he shoots and then the vehicle accelerates, either way, that's not an okay use of force.
Of the 4 officers on scene, Arnold was the only one to fire his weapon. Arnold told investigators, we believe that he's got a gun, but there was no weapon on Mitchell or in the vehicle.
There's no question that it's a sloppy investigation.
Arnold was initially put on administrative reassignment, which is standard procedure. The PIU and PSU cases were closed, and Arnold returned to full duty.
They closed the book, and that's the end of the discussion. And I think Mr. Mitchell and his family deserve to have that book open longer than what was done here.
Katrina Helmer, WDRB News.
And we asked LMPD for an interview, but the department has not responded.